So I want to welcome these three panelists that are joining me today. We have Kjeld Eif, Director of the Erasmus Medical Center in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. We have Christian Zurek, VP of Windows Production at Velux in Poland. And we have Jeff Miller, who is President and COO of the Grand Rapids Chair Company. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. So the idea behind this session was to get the perspective of senior leaders about the theme of this event. And before we get to that, I just wanted to give everyone an opportunity to maybe share a little information about their company and tell us how long you guys have been on the lean journey. Let's start with who is going with Kjeld. Let's start with you.
Okay, good morning or afternoon, everyone. Erasmus Medical Center is the leading academic hospital in the Netherlands. Over 18,000 employees, so about 2 billion euros annual budget. And we are dedicated to advancing healthcare through actually three things: excellent patient care, research, and education. And we embarked on our lean journey, I think 5 years ago. And actually we focused on three things: to improve efficiency. Now I think it's much better to focus on effectiveness, but okay, we started to focus on improving efficiency, patient outcomes, and to create a better working environment for our staff. So, and in the beginning, we started with small trainings and workshops. The last few years, we invested heavily. So in our lean training programs, lean office, black belts, but also strategy deployment, etc.
Very good. Thank you, Kjeld. Jeff, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thank you, Roberto. Jeff Miller from Grand Rapids Chair Company. We're a producer of furniture here in the United States of America, Grand Rapids, Michigan. We compete within the domestic furniture industry, office furniture industry. We produce around 800 units a day in one factory in Grand Rapids. We have seasonally between 170 to 200 employees. If you check out our website, grandrapidschair.com, you'll get a feel for our products. Our products are used within restaurants, hotels, are about 25% of our product markets, respectively, and then about 50% of our furniture will go into office spaces across the United States of America. In terms of our lean journey, I would say the company, we're a 24-year-old business. The lean has very much been in our DNA since the inception of the firm. But I would say it really started in earnest again with new vitality right around the onset of the COVID pandemic in 2020. We did an engagement with Lean Enterprise Institute and have been a learning partner with them ever since. And today we're really leveraging lean in a different way from where we started. We started very much on the shop floor, tool-based deployment, these kind of things. And I've heard that similar broken record globally with many people who started with lean 20 and 30 years ago. When lean really came back in a different way, it started really with me and my leadership team seeking to build a new business at the onset of the COVID pandemic. And today, lean is very much, I would say, building roots enterprise-wide as we're seeking to really solidify our management system, which really starts with Hoshin Connery and the strategy deployment, our change management processes, and our daily management system. Very much employee-centric and trying to invest in our employees. I think very much like Keld's talked about, to build a learning-based culture of people that feel empowered to work within their area of the business and across the business to improve the business and its performance for our customers.
Very good. Thank you, Jeff. Christian.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. And thank you very much for the invitation to this fantastic event. I'm representing Velux. It's a manufacturing company producing roof windows, which we are selling, we can say right now, globally. The company is employing worldwide close to 12,000 employees. So we can say that's a kind of cooperation already. Our lean journey started in 2006, and that was mostly a kind of base approach to the shop floor, to the production, starting with implementation of base tools like standardizing 5S, going through the standard work visualization on the shop floor and stuff like that. However, later on, we tried to get rid of a very fixed basic approach towards more situational based one, where various tools, methodologies, or whatever else was considered based on the needs from the particular situation, from the particular case, and focus more on the people development in case of their competences, their knowledge about the lean, and onboarding them into the projects or into the activities, so people could feel influenced, because that's one of the most important things in this journey. And right now it's about building and developing the lean culture, also based on the Hoshinkanri policy deployment and even more advanced tools.
Very good. Thank you. A quick message for our viewers. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the Q&A session. And at the end of the session, if we have time, we're going to go through them. Let's move on to the first question, which is really about the theme of this year's event, developing adaptiveness. So I would like to know your take. Do you find that Lean has helped and is helping your organization become more adaptive to the challenges that it faces? And I would like, if possible, each of you to share an example, perhaps, of that. Let's start with you, Christian, since you went last at the beginning.
Okay, so I can say that Lean is about the change, and what is important in that, what is in this philosophy, is a continuous improvement. So we can say we are talking about continuous change, maybe smaller changes, maybe not that revolutionary things, more evolutionary. However, that's a competences or let's say approach for the people, which is developed towards being prepared for the changes, feeling them on a daily basis, what is also getting into the automatic change management, because various necessary tools and competences related to the change management need to be applied. And in this case, for me, the most important is a kind of cultural preparation. And I already mentioned about people's involvement, employees' involvement to various activities where they can feel that they can impact what we do, and they can feel that they are part of the change. They are not just told to change this or that, but they are part of the change. And what is also very important from my perspective is that Lean is guiding us to standardize all our activities, all things we do, and it is much easier to implement change in the standardized environment, to assess the current state and elaborate what should be the future state, and then assess the gap. That's giving the solid base and also transparency of what has to be done, what we are aiming for, and clearly deploy the roles and the responsibilities, which in environment which is not that standardized, it's definitely not easy. And what I can also mention as a last point in this case is that working more and more to build the Lean culture, we ensure transparency, and also it's a different level of awareness from people, from the basic things, because as I mentioned, this is also about the standardized way the communication and the information is provided. So from basic things up to the more and more complex things, people should have at least a more clear view of what we are going and where we are going, what is the aim, and also why the things which we are doing are necessary. Because in the end, this why is also important, so everybody are aware of what is the general condition, what we are gaining for.
Great. Thank you, Christian. Kjeld, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I think Lean indeed helps us to become more adaptive. To be honest, at first we were, I think 5 years ago, we were more afraid about change. And I think through Lean, we saw change not so much as a threat, but an opportunity to grow stronger. And I think our obvious example in healthcare was our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. I think we used a lot of Lean principles to scale up our processes. For example, for instance, expanding our ICU capacity. It tripled within 2 weeks. And we use Lean methods like value stream mapping, but also training within industry. We used a lot of principles from visual management to be sure in our hospital to get the patient flow right. So I think that was a big case for us. And at the same time, I think we get better in involving multidisciplinary teams. I think before the introduction of Lean, we were more focused on this is my discipline, this is what I do. But actually, the pandemic forced us to work more together. And I think Lean helped us to accelerate that. And yeah, I think another example for how Lean helped us to become more adaptive was our introduction of a research data management system. Transition like these often come with resistance, uncertainty. And I think Lean helped us to engage our staff through simple workshops, training within industry, but we created a kind of space for feedback, learning on the job, continuous improvement. So I think Lean helped us to implement the change successfully, more successfully than we used to do this kind of big changes in our company.
Very good. Thank you. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I very much enjoyed Christian's and Kjeld's answers. I would say mine is parallel and similar. So, you know, has Lean helped Grand Rapids Chair adapt to internal and external change with 100% confidence, which an engineer can rarely say? I would say absolutely yes. You know, without the structure that we have today, which really is the systems of strategy deployment and daily management and focusing and prioritizing our problem solving. I understand what the past state was, and I'm continually comparing and contrasting that to the current state and where I want the target condition to go. And the past state was, yes, there was an organization of, you know, more or less highly developed problem solvers, but our problem solving activity was not focused and prioritized, which really resulted in a firm, our company, Grand Rapids Chair, reacting and slowly to pressure externally and not getting after planned problem solving and plan change from an internal perspective. Today, with the tools of Hoshin Conry and our daily management system, we can do a better job at managing and leading change and focusing and prioritizing our problem-solving activity so we can react more rapidly to unplanned change and achieve more rapid internal plan change in people, product, and process evolution.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you all. Another question that I had is about the cultural side of things, let's say. So we talk about Lean typically as a socio-technical system, and improving processes is one side of it, but then you also need to make sure that people are thinking in a Lean way, so the right mindset is established in the organization. How does that cultural side of things play into this whole idea of adaptiveness? What's your experience? Let's start with you, Jeff, since you were last.
Yeah, this is another excellent question. The fundamental tools of problem solving with enough practice became inherent, conscious thinking from an individual perspective in my experience. And as people adapt their approach to how they handle problems and systematically aren't having to learn as much about like, how do I solve a problem? How do I create an A3? It becomes more and more comfortable for people to tackle problems. And one thing I've really enjoyed seeing is, someone who may be a new problem solver, maybe they're, a year or year and a half down the path of having produced several A3s, and they're not so reliant on the coach as they were in the first place. They can work horizontally in the organization much more effectively than without the problem-solving tool, and it helps them with their individual skill development and the stability and growth of their social network. So that whole social side of, I'm doing a better job, I'm making more friends, and particularly with these large organizations, it's hard to work across different departments. You may be in finance or IT, and you need to work with sales and marketing and manufacturing, and particularly with the global operation, without that really tool to state, what are you trying to do? What resources and support do you need? It's very difficult. So yeah, I would say the cultural impact, that I've seen it's very tangible and real. I've seen people's skill developed and their overall happiness at work, which I quantify as, it's the social network side. And do I have friends at work or not? It forces people to work, and it gives them an opportunity to work horizontally and collaboratively in a way that it's much more difficult without a systematic tool like an A3 or even a smaller PDCA type of tool.
Very good. Christian, do you want to go next?
I can. This is a very good question. What to say more after this great Jeff making the scene for that? But I really also would like to link to problem-solving activities, because the problem-solving and involvement into that people, that was a game changer in our journey. And I fully agree with this, what Jeff mentioned in case of people's development, personal development, and also impacting the way of working. Instead of being routine job performer, you start to be a part of some very noteworthy activities. And then, first of all, such kind of first of all problem solving, and then maybe more and more advanced projects that increasing curiosity of the people who are participating in these activities, but also giving a chance for them, first of all, to develop own competencies in different things, but also seeing the influence that we are able also to change something. We are able to affect various things, which afterwards giving us opportunity for better, more safe, more ergonomic way of working, and especially work which is more smooth, because these problems, various issues are fixed. And that's I fully also agree that it's building a kind of team spirit, and also certain relations, networking in the place, because even though in one factory we have, let's say, people working in this or that department, on a daily basis they cannot see them themselves. Being part of various lean activities of problem solving, developing new standards, acting in more bigger projects, they are able to simply collaborate with people with whom, yeah, they never met probably, or if we talk about larger environment, with people from other departments. So also it's fantastic opportunity to show what does the production environment look from different perspectives. So what I, as a production operator, can see from the maintenance side, for quality side. So compare different expectation, align that, and then build one common way, one common approach, and understanding each other much better. So many different things, and then the respect between the people is higher, transparency of the communication is higher, and I believe what is also important, that step by step, the courage for experimenting, the courage for getting things done, and taking their own responsibility, so building the ownership in the end, is also a part of such kind of the cultural development. So many things, and I believe we could elaborate on that even more today.
Very good. Kjeld, what about you? What about the cultural side in your experience?
Yeah, actually, great answers already. I think I can add some things to that. I would say a shared sense of purpose. I think that's foundational in an academic hospital. It's obvious, doctors, nurses, researchers, but also support staff aligns pretty easy around a central goal, delivering the best care. But I think the shared vision is necessary to motivate teams to embrace the change and to be more adaptable. I also think about safety. It's a really big topic, psychological safety as well. I think we learned for Lean to succeed, our staff must feel safe to speak up and propose new ideas without fear or blame. And actually, that was a difficult part in our traditional hierarchical. It's a difficult word. Structure. So I think I would mention that we encourage open communication, constructive feedback, our learning loops, and I think also the learning itself and the reflection, continuous improvement. I think that's key to. It's actually requires a growth mindset. You mentioned, and we celebrate our successes. We try to have all kinds of awards and put pictures in the corridors. Lots of internal communication for people to be proud of what we are establishing, but also we speak about our failures and our shared lessons learned. So I think that's all needed. So we empower staff to adapt and innovate in a more dynamic healthcare environment. If you compare it with 10 or 20 years ago.
That's right. Very good. Thank you. Another question that I have, we only have another 6 minutes left, but I was originally going to ask you about the kind of like the challenges that like your sector is facing in general, but I have another question that I think it's perhaps more interesting to ask. And to me, what, when we talk about, there are a couple of questions even in the Q&A about sort of like innovation, which of course is necessary if you are to adapt. And of course, it's not something that happens overnight. So, we have one of the key tools in the lean world to kind of like strategize and look ahead is Hoshin. But then we have all of these problems that pop up, especially in a very unstable world like the one that we are experiencing right now. So I'm interested in asking you, all three of you, of course, how do you strike that balance between having a strategy and sticking to that strategy over time while also responding to the challenges that pop up left and right? How do you do that? Let's start maybe with Kjeld.
Yeah, I think it's very important. You don't want to be led by fear. And I see a lot of things happening around our environment. In healthcare, we see a kind of increasing complexity, all technological innovations. For example, integration of AI, it's a big question. Also about privacy and who's responsible. But it's there, so we have to adapt to that kind of changes. But we see also changes on sustainability, on shifting expectations from patients and staff. For example, the focus on prevention rather than just only treatment. So it's big changes, but we think if you are leading your company from a purpose, the purpose is not that susceptible to all different kinds of things that are happening in the environment. So if you define your purpose on a way higher level, you want to serve, or it's more from the heart perspective, that's not so adaptable to change. That's for the long perspective, I think. So actually we have a lot of discussions on our purpose, and that's driving us. And then for sure we have to adapt to a lot of things, but I don't think the strategy in its core is changing.
Very good. Thank you. We have probably 3 minutes left. I can give Jeff and Christian a minute and a half each. Jeff, what about you? What do you think?
Can you restate the question? I think
Yes,
I got
of course.
a bit lost.
How do you strike the balance between sticking to the strategy and responding to the everyday pressing challenges that pop up and that you weren't expecting?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for us at the company, the stability of our daily management metrics will always take a precedent over the strategic work, and that's very much the amplification of problems that exist in our manufacturing system on a daily basis, and our daily management cadence of our managers being aware of safety, quality, reliability, and cost. And if we don't see stability there, we won't work on anything else except problems that exist of today. That's not every day, and thankfully, and that allows us from a management perspective to work on the longer problems and the more large, vague problems that are strategic in nature. And most of my career, things are rather slowly moving. And it's a couple quarters to see the impact of measures that exist for strategy to really pay off. You've either done something really well or you've done something really wrong. And hopefully the failure has not hurt too bad. You can learn from it and adjust. Yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Christian, what about you?
I would say we first of all need to keep the strategy frames which should allow some certain changes or some certain adaptability. It is not something what should be crafted in stone and given forever, because when we talk about especially longer term, like 4, 5, 10 year strategy, it need to be with some kind of essence of flexibility. And of course, daily observation connected with continuous development of the measuring systems which we have, adaptability from that side is also important. That's why it is important not to keep the lean perception in the shop floor, but also moving upstream to various centralized functions and supportive functions, because this adaptability is needed, and reaction of different things that happening. Because why should we track the measuring system which is not showing the reality, or which is keeping us without profitability for the future, or stuff like that? So we call that ambidextrity. So being having a measuring system that allows you to be focused on a daily basis, and of course there are dedicated people to do that full-time job, but there are also people who need to take care of longer term activities, and it's very important to keep a link in between, and being transparent in between each other. So in my eyes here, standardized way and lean way with good policy deployment, it's supporting, because it's ensuring transparency. And that would be my conclusion about being transparent in between each other, not keeping in the silos.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I could be here another hour talking to you guys, but you know, such is the event. I really thank all three of you for being with me today, and with all of us, of course. Thank you so much, Christian. Thank you so much, Kjeld. Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm wishing you a wonderful evening or day or whatever time it is where you are. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.